Hi everyone, good morning. So let's start with our third video of this series of solving HackerRank interview preparation kit. So we'll click on the HackerRank interview preparation kit and then we'll go to our warm-up challenges and we'll select the problem statement number 4, repeated string. So once we clicked in, so we'll have to check the problem statement. So here problem statement states that there is a string s of lowercase English letter is repeated infinitely many times. Given an integer n, find and print the number of letter a's in the first n letter of that infinite string. So it basically says that there will be a string pattern and it keeps on repeating n number of times. So you have to count that within a length of n, for example it can be 100 or 10, within that length how many number of a's are present. So it's a very easy statement, so we will go and start writing the code. I don't know, so let's just delete it, and the boiler code is already present, so we will start. So first objective out here is to find the total number of full substrings are present in that. Means what I mean by is this: a total number a number of ABA is present. For example, for example in this case, it's ABA is repeated infinite number of times. So out of 10, there will be three instances like ABA, where three instances of the sequence of the substring ABA is present in full, and the last one, the 10th one, would be just A. So there will be three complete ABAs and one would be a partial string out of this consists of just A. So you have to check that out. So we will first try to check total number of full string present there. And to count it is very simple. We will use a math function, math.aflow. What it does this, for example, a value, for example 5.15 or 5.6, it will reduce that and take the lowermost value. For example, 5.6 will be considered as 5, and the ceiling, there is another function called math.sil. It takes the uppermost values. For example, in case of 5.6 or 5.1, it will increase it to the uppermost value. So it works in that principle. So we would n divided by length of s. So in this way we will get the total number of full string. Once we have got that, so we have to count what would be the length of the partial string that is present. And to get the length of the partial string, we have to n is the total number of words present there, so we would subtract it from it. So multiplied by total number. And as I always keep on saying, you always write a proper variable name. Don't write x and y because it's a bit confusing for anyone to understand what you're trying to say. Here the variables like total number of full string, so you can easily understand that what is the total number of full string present there. So what is the total number of ABA is present there. So and its length of the partial string. Once you have done that, we have to just count the number of a's present there. So we will write another variable count a equal to s dot this is a kind of tricky part, but it's not very difficult for anyone who understand Python or string concatenation. So I will explain you. So first we are trying to find the number of A's present in the substring. For example, in ABA, total number of values of A present there. So in that case, it's only 2 in ABA. And once we have got the 2, and then we will multiply it by total number of strings, total number of full string present there. For example, in our case it was 3, so we will multiply it by 3 and our value would become 6. And once we get that 6, and in the partial string there is just one value out of it. So as you can see here, the value is 7, and we are writing it for a general case. So once we are done with this, we will just return our output, return, and once we have done this part, and as you can see, it passed all the test cases. And best part of it is that instead of searching manually, we are using much more better approach, and it is much more faster. As I always tell you, try to write a very proper code and don't use brute force. Try to use some logic so that your programs become faster, because in these cases these are just warm-up challenges, so it's very easier. Even if you apply brute force, many of the times it will pass, but as we keep on proceeding to a much more challenging problems, so in that case the brute force will always fail. So, and generally in hackathons also, the questions that comes in are difficult, has some complexity associated with it. So maybe if your logic is correct, but it will fail in the runtime process. So try to improve the logic of your code, and try to make sure that your code compiles in as less iteration as possible. So the best is like big O of n, but that sometimes is not feasible. Just like big O of log n, or n square max to max. But n square is the least appreciated approach, because it will take the twice amount of time, the total number of values present there. So it's not the correct approach. But as I've told you, in this case we are just using some logic and just simply multiplying those things, so it becomes way faster. Okay, then meet you next week, and we will keep on solving the other questions.